welcome now Malcolm Reed, founder of How to BBQ Right. Hey, Malcolm, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, we are ready for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes, sir. So what are we cooking for Thanksgiving?
Oh, we got to smoke a turkey and a ham. That's the number one, number two right there. Then I let my wife take care of all the sides. So
I got you. Smoking a turkey and a ham. Now I'm hungry, of course, after you mentioned that, because that's always a good way to prepare those delicacies for an enjoyable Thanksgiving. So what about throughout the holidays, Malcolm? Any particular food plans that you're thinking about or we should be thinking about?
Well, traditionally you got to have that turkey on Thanksgiving. I think that's what most of America's doing tomorrow, cooking turkey some kind of form or fashion. But man, I think you should already have that turkey in a brine, letting it get a good soak so it gets some moisture and some seasoning deep down in it, and then get ready to cook it in the morning. That's kind of the important part. And then in Mississippi, we've got the Egg Bowl, and it's funny how it seems like the whole nation's eyes are on what's going to happen at the Egg Bowl, not so much the game, but the decision after it. So that's
exactly
what my weekend's
right.
shaping up like.
I got you. That's exactly right. So you're going to the Egg Bowl? You're going to be there in person?
No, I'm going to be at deer camp. I'm going to go to deer camp and try to see a deer in the morning on Friday and then watch the Egg Bowl right around 11. So it's going to be a fun day, but I'm going to get my belly full tomorrow.
I got you. That sounds great. So I saw something the other day, Malcolm, about turkey preparation. Said the number one mistake made by folks at home is they don't allow the bird to thaw out long enough and properly, and therefore you don't get the same result. What about that?
That's exactly true. And, I think the majority of the birds that we're used to cooking here come froze. And depending on the size of that bird, it takes multiple days. If you're cooking a big 18 to 20 pound bird, it should have been out 5 to 6 days ago in the refrigerator, slow thawing. I like to cook the 12 pounders. I like that young turkey. I think it cooks really even. So I usually take those out about 3 days before I'm going to cook it, and that gives it time to thaw out. And once I can, get that ice out of the middle of the cavity and then get down in a brine and give it another 24-hour soak, it really, really does well. So there's more preparation that goes into it. It's not over if you didn't get it speed thawed. There are ways that you can thaw it in water with changing that water out. It'll speed the process up some. But it's not recommended to leave it out on the counter to let it thaw. You really want to thaw it in a safe environment. So that's a big thing of cooking turkey. And, turkey's a neutral flavor. It doesn't have a whole lot of its own flavor. So it can take on seasonings, brines, injections, all that really well. So even if you didn't brine it, you can still inject it to get some flavor deep down in it.
I got you. So and now that I think about it, I think it was the CEO of Butterball that was actually talking about that that's the number one issue. And this was like 3 or 4 days ago. He said, if you hadn't started the thawing out process, just like you said, 5-7 days, it's a little late, but he also suggested there are some things you can do to kind of catch up and overcome that. But I hadn't thought about that. So is it just the way the makeup of the meat, kind of the fiber of the meat itself, it just receives spices and injections, I guess, better than maybe some other types of meat?
That's the way it is. It naturally wants to soak them up. And like when you drop a turkey down in a brine, which a brine is a solution of some kind of liquid with salt and sugar and spices usually. So you can put whatever kind of flavors in there, and what happens, it's kind of a science reaction. I remember osmosis from biology school. It's cool. Yeah. It's like you've got this higher concentrations of flavors of salt and sugar and spices that want to equal out inside that turkey, and the meat's perfect for drawing it up and stabilizing it. And as it stabilizes, that's what leaves that moisture and that flavor inside your turkey. It makes it really juicy, and it makes it taste good.
I got you. All right, so you said your wife's handling the sides. Can you share what the sides at the Reed table look like on Thanksgiving?
Yes, sir. Well, we got to have dressing to go along with that turkey.
Sure.
So we're going to have turkey dressing, and then she really makes a really good sweet potato dish. It's like that classic pecan praline topping on top of some really oven roasted sweet potatoes.
Love that.
and then mac and cheese and deviled eggs and of course gravy and then lima beans and oh man, I could go on and just tell you what we're going to have, and it's the one day where you can you're going to have plenty good food to eat, and it's probably going to last us all weekend long.
Man, we're so blessed, aren't we, in this country to be able to enjoy that bounty. And I saw that the price has declined a little bit, but still overall, it's not that expensive when you think of how many people you could feed a real well-heeled Thanksgiving meal to.
That's right, man. I know the grocery stores in our part of the state up north here have been packed. It's people are really going out. We had to make a run this morning to get some last minute rolls and a few things, a few more blocks of cream cheese, all the stuff that's required for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as a matter of fact, I saw that the price of Sister Schubert rolls, which are very popular on Thanksgiving, they're down like 20% or something relative to last year.
Yeah, it's great to see that, man. I think, the economy's coming around. There's plenty of jobs out there. Everybody's working. If you watch all the media, sometimes it doesn't look like that. But when you go out in the towns and stuff, it's kind of a different story. So I tell people to get out there and experience it for yourself, man. See what's really going on in your communities.
Okay, so you mentioned, and naturally we think about that in the South, that stuffing to be the first accompaniment to a turkey dinner. But up in the northern part of the country, that's not popular, is it? Stuffing as part of the trimmings.
So I think they do. We do the dressing down here, and they'll do the stuffing in the bird, and that's just something that we don't do a lot of. When I stuff a turkey, I think of using like root vegetables, aromatics, citrus fruit, things like that, apples. Things that give it mass on the inside, but it's not something that you really eat. Like, we don't eat that stuffing that we put in it. Now they do a version of a cornbread stuffing up north, but it's usually different than what I grew up on, what my grandmother and granny made. That's real Southern dressing.
Okay, so Malcolm, my family is originally from New Orleans before they moved to Mississippi, and my father Italian, and my mother learned the Italian recipes from his mother. And so you're probably familiar with this, but it's Progresso Italian breadcrumbs is what they use traditionally in New Orleans to make the dressing, and my mother carried that on, and it's different than the cornbread dressing.
I've had, now when we talk New Orleans cooking, man, there's so much good variety down there and so many different things that are staples. And you're exactly right. That's a staple. And the rice dressing that a lot of people make down in Louisiana is fantastic too. And that's something you see at Thanksgiving a lot. In fact, I have a sister-in-law that they bring it every year. We're gonna have Louisiana style rice dressing. Usually has a sausage or something in it, which is a little different.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing that I think my mother used to make, my mother used to make for the holidays is, I hope I pronounce it correctly, the Militon. I think it's spelled Mirliton, but it was always pronounced Militon, like the R is kind of silent. Are you familiar with that?
No, that's a new one. Go ahead and describe it.
Yeah, it's a vegetable, I think, that's about the size of an avocado. And instead of stuffing like a big bell pepper, for example, you cut it in half and you stuff that either Italian dressing type or the rice dressing is what you were talking about. My mother used to stuff militons. That was also
when we get off this, Gerard, I'm going to go check that out because that might be a video that I need to do. That would be a good one.
I literally just looked it up while we're sitting here, and it's from NOLA, Nala Cuisine, shrimp stuffed militons. So there you go. And then there's Uncle Tim's stuffed militons from Rouse's Supermarket that includes Louisiana crawfish tails in it.
Yeah, we love Rouse's, man. That's a great chain of grocery down there.
We need them here, don't we?
Yes, we do. I would love to see some Rouse's up this far north.
Now, when I was growing up, it was customary for us to visit the Schwegmans in New Orleans when we were headed out of town, right?
I've heard of Schwegmans, yes.
Gigantic, man, grocery store with a huge liquor department, as they do in Louisiana, right there in the grocery store itself. But yeah, just really cool. So Man, we appreciate you coming on, Malcolm. Now you got me hungry thinking about Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir. Let's get those birds ready for the oven. Hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. Enjoy the time with your family and friends. And, man, happy Thanksgiving, Gerard.
Also, Malcolm, wanted to express our appreciation to you for your partnership with the Palmer Home and Giving Tuesday coming up next week. Really appreciate that, man.
That's exactly right, man. We always 100% support the Palmer Home, and if it wasn't for SuperTalk, I wouldn't be a part of it. So I'm glad to be able to do that, man.
That's awesome. Malcolm Reed, everyone. How to BBQ Right. We're coming right back in the Element Wealth